Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new OP champion in patch 6.20, and as you can tell by the background gameplay, it's going to be Nunu. So Nunu is really strong this patch, and in this video, I'm going to go over why he's strong. We're going to take a look at like the builds, the runes, and masteries for Nunu, and also some tips at the end of the video. So with that being said, let's get started. So taking a look at why Nunu is such a strong pick this patch, the main reason to why he's good in my opinion were because of the changes to his Q. He did also get some other really good buffs as well, but I'm not going to go into detail on those ones because they were more minor compared to the one that he did get to his Q. So whenever he does clear a large monster out in a camp, he now gains 3% maximum health, and this can stack up to 5 times. So once he does clear out 5 large monsters, he's going to have 15% maximum health, which is just insane in my opinion. It makes him such a tanky champion, and when I did play Nunu a few times, once you do finish your Cinder Hulk and once you do have a Giant's Belt, you have 2,500 HP, and that's just so crazy because you get that at around 12 to 15 minutes into the game, and you become pretty much unkillable like really early on. So I think that those are the main reasons to why Nunu is such a good pick right now. He's just so tanky and he's so hard to kill. Another change that he did get to his Q is whenever he does kill the large monster in a camp, he gains 10 out of combat movement speed. Now you wouldn't think that this is too big, but that stacks up to 5 times as well. So once you do clear out 5 camps, you're gonna have 50 out of combat movement speed, which just allows Nunu to get around the map really fast. If you have tier 1 boots and you've got 5 large monsters cleared out, then you have 423 movement speed out of combat on Nunu. So this just allows him to get around the map, to gank more, and it just makes him such a strong pick this patch. So let's talk about a few tips now for when you are going to be playing Nunu, which I would definitely highly recommend at least giving him a shot this patch because he's a really good pick in my opinion. So when you are playing Nunu, your main objective in the early game is not so much to get yourself ahead and to get fed on Nunu, it's more so to stop the enemy jungler from getting fed and to stop them from making a presence in the early game. So you want to try to invade the enemy jungler with Nunu if your flash is up. If your flash is down, it is a little bit more risky, so if your laners aren't pushing out, then I probably wouldn't go for an invade, but it's really easy for you to invade as Nunu and just steal a camp away really fast due to the fact that he does have his consume with his Q. His QE smite combo pretty much one-shots the large monster, so just never be afraid to invade as Nunu in the early game and try to shut that enemy jungler down. So invading on Nunu will not only get yourself ahead and it will make the enemy jungler fall behind, but it's also really tilting to play against a Nunu when you are playing jungle on the enemy team, because if the Nunu just walks in to your jungle, he clears out a camp right in your face, then it's gonna be so tilting and it's just so annoying to play against a Nunu. So you just always want to try to be in the enemy jungler's face, try to get them tilted, because if you can get them tilted and you can even make them AFK, then it's gonna be a lot easier for you to win that game. Another tip is when you are taking either Dragon or Baron, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that objective as long as you do go for a Q smite. So what you want to do is you want to Q and then smite right after, and it's pretty much a guaranteed, or you're pretty much guaranteed to pick up that objective because no other jungler in the game can out smite like the Q smite from Nunu. So just make sure you are using that, and you're pretty much going to guarantee to get yourself a Baron or a Dragon if you are taking it. When you are in team fights as Nunu, try to just peel for your carries more so than trying to dive the back line and trying to get on the enemy carries. Nunu is one of the best peel junglers in the game due to his ultimate, so as long as you can keep the enemy carries off of your carries in team fights, it's going to be a lot easier for you to win that game. If the enemies are trying to dive onto your back line, then just use your ultimate, peel for them, throw your E on whoever's diving on your AD carry, and always try to put your value on your AD carry in a team fight because it is going to give them that movement speed and the attack speed. So you basically don't really so much want to be like diving the back line as Nunu and being the hero in a team fight. You just want to try to keep your carries alive and allow them to do the damage. Nunu can be a really good tower diving champion once you do finish your Cinderhulk and once you do have Giant Spell, because you're gonna have 2,500 HP at that point, so you're really not gonna take too much damage for towers. If the laning phase is still going on once you do have those items finished, then look to go for a dive top lane or even bot lane, because as long as your laners do follow up, it should be pretty easy to pick up that kill. You're pretty much guaranteed to like land your damage as Nunu when you do gank, because his E is single target, his ultimate is also like, you're not really gonna miss your ultimate unless the enemy does flash out of it. So it's a lot easier to pull off a dive as Nunu than it is say someone like an Elise or a Nidalee. So just try to use that in the early game if you do get ahead. So those are going to be all the tips that I have. I'm definitely not a very good Nunu player and I don't really play him a whole lot. I've only been picking him up after he did get these buffs. So if you guys have been playing Nunu for a longer time, or if you are a Nunu main, then be sure to leave some other tips down in the comments below. Now, as for the build on Nunu right now, the main build path that people are going is Cinderhulk into either Frozen Heart or Randuin's Omen. If the enemy team does have like a crit AD carry, or if they do have a few crit champions, then I would recommend going for the Randuin's Omen second item. If they don't really have a whole lot of crit though, and they're more like armor pen champions, then going for the Frozen Heart is really good, because it's going to make that armor pen not really too effective and you're going to be able to soak a lot of damage in team fights. If the enemy team is pretty heavy AP damage, then you can go Spirit Visage second item, and if they are like mixed damage, then going for a Frozen Heart into a Spirit Visage and then just rounding out your build as to what you need is going to be the way to go. If you do end up getting a snowball going in the early game, then you could go for maybe like 1 or 2 AP items. I really wouldn't recommend it on Nunu too much because I feel like he is better just building full tank. But if you do want a little bit more damage, you could go for something like a Leandri's or a Rylai's. I'm not too sure exactly as to how strong those items are on him, but if you're like absolutely wrecking the early game and you're snowballing super hard, then I don't see any reason to why you shouldn't go a little bit of AP on him. I will leave a sample build on screen here for you guys though. The best win percent build right now is going Cinderhulk into Frozen Heart and then getting a Locket after that. That build is just really effective because it gives you a good amount of armor, magic resist, and it also does give you some HP. And the Locket is really nice for just keeping your team alive in those team fights. Now, as for the rune page on Nunu right now, there are a few different pages going around, but the most popular one right now, and the one that most pro players are taking, they're going for the attack speed Quint, they're going for AD marks, and some armor seals. Some are going for the health per level seals, and then most people are going for the cooldown per level glyphs. Moving on to the mastery page now, the most popular one is 12-0-18, taking the strength of the ages in the resolve tree as your keystone mastery. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to try out Nunu this patch if you have yet to already. He's such an obnoxious jungler, and he's a jungle pick that when you're playing against him, it's just so annoying and you just hate playing against a Nunu. But playing as Nunu, it's actually so fun. You just get in the enemy's face, you invade the enemy jungler, you just steal camps right in their face and you just walk away. So try out this patch if you have yet to already. So that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video.